Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video we are here to discuss an emotional rollercoaster 5-star thriller as Rangers somehow defeat Livingston to reach the semis. Alright, fair enough, some things I just said aren't true, but you know what is? Rangers are through to the semis, so let's celebrate that. And right off the bat, I'm just going to be honest, this was not the way I expected this game to go. It was a complete and utter different game to the one we played at Ibrox just about a week or two ago, where we won 3-1, we had a good second half performance, it was back and forth, there was chances and some good football played. This game started to look like an audition tape to remake Mean Machine. It was frightening, there was challenges all over the place. I'm not joking when I say this, there could have been 3 red cards in that game of football and there would have been not one single complaint. It was madness. And on par with that madness is the fact that we scored an early goal. I like that, Rangers. Let's make that a recurring theme throughout the rest of the season. On. But the maddest part was yet to come, because the man who scored was Mr. 50k himself from outside the box. Now granted, it is from a heavy deflection, but the original shot was on target, and we want to see our players start shooting from range. And when you actually shoot from range, you see what happens. Sometimes it can take little knocks on its way in, or it could take a big heavy one and end up in the back of the net. But the fact remains, the boy shot, he had the confidence to shoot, and it found itself into the back of the net, and you're just thinking, yes Rangers, that's what we like to see. We just heard a press conference from Gary Mack and Joe Aribo talk about how important it is, these cup games, how they want to start off early and grab a hold of the game. And with that goal gone in, you think, brilliant, go Rangers, make this 4, 5, 6 or even 7. But then we remember we're Rangers fans and we know that was never ever going to happen, you know what I mean? If we score early, it's going to be nippy bum time for the rest of the game. If we didn't score early, it's nippy bum time to the last 2 minutes. That's what happens, ladies and gentlemen. And that is why I have so many grey hairs and a bum that can crack a walnut. You think that joke was bad? Try putting yourself in my shoes right now and try and figure out a way to transition from top of your bum and walnuts to another talking point in the game of football. So we took an early lead, but did we go on and score more goals? Nah. After the goal, you were expecting us to take over it, but we'd never really quite done that. And then this is when the physicality really started to kick into gear, especially when we took the lead. The main incident, or the first incident I should say we're going to speak about, is the fact that Joe Aribo had to be withdrawn from the game after getting his head split open by an elbow. And what's very interesting about the elbow incident on Joe Aribo is the fact that the guy does it twice. Back to frickin' back within 10 seconds. He jumps up, has a bit of a nibble with the elbow on Alfredo Morelos, then looks, you can see it if you check the replay, has a wee look, sees Joe Aribo coming, and he jumps up and he catches him with the elbow. Now Joe Aribo falls right away. I mean, his head's split open. You see the player's reaction. Whenever you see a player's reaction like that, you know something serious has gone away. The play gets stopped. The Rangers players are signalling. Even, to be fair, a couple of the Livingston players were also trying to get the attention of the first aiders and stuff like that. Not the guy who done it. He just kind of walked away and left the scene of the crime. But thankfully Joe Aribo did get the attention that he required and he got sorted up. Now, there was a lot of worry, especially when he first dropped and you see the amount of blood, whether or not he was going to need a stretcher to get off the field. But I am very happy to say Joe Aribo managed to get it all bandaged up. He stood up and he walked off the park. He didn't want to get wheeled off in a stretcher, he wanted to walk off the park, and that I give him a lot of credit for, taking that kind of knock and being able to get back up on his feet and walk on. Fair play, mate, showing you've got a wee bit of the old crown jewels. And at this point I'm just hoping he's alright. Now, when I'm currently recording today's video, I haven't heard what Gerrard said about the game, I haven't heard what any of the players have said, and I haven't had any updates on Joe Aribo. It may be a concussion, it may not. Probably when you're watching today's video, the news will be out there, but it didn't look right. But the encouraging point for me was the fact that he was able to get up and walk off the field and watch the rest of the game as well. Fingers crossed Joe Aribo is back doing what he does best, and that's playing football for Rangers very soon. Now, round about this time as well, there was a half-hearted call for Livingston for a penalty kick, but for me it's never ever a penalty kick. I mean, BT continually showed the replay as if they were hoping and praying to be able to find one, but again, I couldn't see it from the replays. I think the guy's thrown himself, he's on his way down, and the referee got that spot on. But that's pretty much all he got spot on in the game. That one penalty incident he got right, the rest of it was pretty awful. And I'm not just going to sit here and be biased and put the blue tinted specs on that I love so much. I'm going to be honest, Hollander should have received a red card for a late challenge, or sorry, a challenge on Dykes off the ball. He doesn't get in of it. Dykes is sort of running through now. It's not a clear goal scoring opportunity because there is a couple of people tracking back, but again, it's a late one and I could certainly have seen a red card coming. Now please note, by the way, his name is Hollander, not Elmander. I don't know what Chris Sutton was playing the night, but when I have to come out here and correct you on pronunciation, that tells you everything, mate, and shows you how far off the scale you are. But unfortunately, the referee talk doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be brief for this one as well. Dykes, who was on the receiving end of what should have been a red card for Hollander, if you look at it certain ways, then should have received a red card for an absolute shocker on Connor Goldson. I mean, that challenge right there is absolutely disgusting, and he's fully well aware of what he's doing. He leaves the studs in. It's a horrific challenge. That should have been a straight red card, and his second suspension in 2 games versus Rangers. Now, apologies, by the way, if these incidents are slightly out of order. My mind is well and truly frazzled with that game of football, but I promise you there's only one other incident we're going to be speaking about in this game of football, and all happened, again, in the first 45 minutes, within about 15-20 minutes of each other. And this one was featuring Ryan Jack and the Livingston captain down in the corner flag. Now, Ryan Jack's putting pressure on the player drops, he wins a foul. I mean, you're always going to see that in football. That's a clever foul to win. Ryan Jack, a wee bit caught putting pressure on him. I mean, I'm not going to say that was an out-and-out horrific challenge or anything like that, but you buy those in a game of football. And I think Ryan Jack's a bit annoyed with him. The player says something to him, he says something back, and I think the ball's there. He tries to just swipe it from underneath his legs and ends up catching him in the legs. Now, to be fair, Craggs said it should have been a yellow card, right? Okay. Sutton demanded a red. Surprised? No. But let's just get back to the actual football then, shall we? That's the referee controversies of the week. Hopefully you've shared your opinion on them as well. But back on the football side of things, was it a great game for the rest of the half? No, really. I mean, I think Rangers were slightly in their own heads after the way it was sort of building and building and building. I think a couple of players just took themselves almost out the rhythm of the game just to make sure they stayed on the field. And we nurse it to half time and you're thinking to yourself, right, we're going to go in there, we're going to get rallied up and come out and smash them. And it kind of happened in terms of the rallying. I think we started off the second half pretty well, creating chances. It looked like we were on the ascendancy. We took control of the game for the first 5 or 10 minutes, and Ojo started to get in behind the defence with his powerful running, and they couldn't get close to him. But what's unfortunate is he couldn't get close to the goals. Chance after chance after chance was missed. But it wasn't the fact that he just missed. It was the fact that he was shooting for almost stupid areas when wee tramp passes were there to tap into the back of the net. I mean, Arfield nearly bit his head off at that moment when he gets right in behind the defence, comes all the way around. Arfield's there for a tap in, he shoots it with his right foot and it ends up going out for a corner. That's horrific. But all the frustration and the silly chances we wasted summed up the overall game. It was an infuriating performance. And after the little spurt of Rangers' dominance, Livingston then started to grow into the game and they started to create a couple of half chances. Again, they finished officially with 0 shots on target with 10 shots. We finished with 10 shots with 5 on target. So if you look at just the stats, it certainly tips towards Rangers. But Livingston put in a couple of dangerous crosses in. I mean, Dykes got in behind the defence numerous times. There was one where he tried to chip the goalkeeper and it just went over. And they showed once again that they are a dangerous team on the attack, and Dykes certainly has a lot of ability. But again, that's it for the game recap. I can't make this up any longer and talk about great things that happened. Not a lot happened in the game of football. It was a poor, frustrating game. But once again, the most important thing about this entire video, and the one thing that we should be taking from that performance, is that we got a win and we're into the semis. I didn't think we won that game last year. Genuinely didn't. I think that's one of those games that we didn't turn up to and get beat last year, and we're so frustrated and we rant. But it seems to me that Rangers now, when you look at it, the Kilmarnock game, the St Mirren game, now this game versus Livingston, we're grinding out these games that we lost in the past, and we're picking up wins where we used to draw and loss. And that's the progress that I see under this Steven Gerrard. Is it perfect? No. But are we winning? Yes. And I think that's where I'm going to end my recap for the 1-0 win over Livingston. Turning very briefly to the individuals that played for Rangers today. Who stepped up for me? It was 2 players overall, if I'm honest with you. That was Bonnebear Barisic, who continues to excel, and he's keeping it consistent now. We saw glimpses of it, but that's 3 in a row now. He's been solid, and he was our best defender in that game of football. Big Bonnebear even getting up and winning headers now. I like it, son. Keep it going. And the other player that really stood out to me was Alfredo Morelos. Did he score? Not. But that was a poor team performance from Rangers, and he was living on less than scraps, and he still got amongst it. He still got us up the field, and he still created a couple of opportunities. One for Ryan Jack to whip in that we almost scored with Barisic scoring the header, by the way. And he still dragged us forward whenever we just kicked balls at him with 2 centre-halves basically riding on his thighs. And I know I continue to mention it this season, but his temperament is absolutely fantastic. I mean, you look at that one screenshot alone, he received 2 horrific slide challenges. Did he get up and freak out? Did he get in their faces and start fights? No. What did he do? He got up, took a deep breath, and he carried on. He's learning and he's just getting better and better, and I love this new, mature Alfredo Morelos. So that was the two players that really stood out to me. Guys like Stephen Davis and Ryan Jack were good, but we have to unfortunately speak about Hollander in this game of football. I thought he really struggled to adapt in this game of football, and Dykes just basically rode him like Seabiscuit at some points. Kind of dreadful performance, I'm being honest. The more I think about it, there were so many loose passes. I mean, he gave away a corner instead of just kicking it back to Alan McGregor. So many times he just headed it away in dangerous areas when there was guys wide open. I mean, screaming for passes. It was a bit of an eye-opener for Hollander, and I'm going to be very interested to see how he responds after such a poor performance a couple of days on from a fantastic one versus Feyenoord. Very interested to see what Gerrard does with Hollander and how he actually adjusts and reacts after that type of performance. And now that me and thee have had their say, let's jump over to Twitter then and hear from the people. There's been 1,204 votes. Thank you so much for getting involved. 9% votes for Ulla, 31% votes for Alfredo Morelos, but the far and away winner with 60% of the vote is Bonabere Barisic, and I love to see that. Ross Watson writes in BB because he was solid. He wasn't great, just solid. It was a rugged performance from the whole team. Blue Sea of Ibrox says, we were crap, but at least BB is keeping the good work up since the skin heat. Other than that, not much to say. Well done, Glenn, as well. We need to be better in the semi-final. Baldy Barisic Loyal writes in, Baldy Barisic strikes again. Lucky name combo. Martin writes in Morelos for no punching, Ojo for missing sitter. Stevie Brown says Bonner has arrived, hopefully now getting more assured every game. Special mention to the fans though, they were great tonight, so they were my men of the match. Honestly, see if you close your eyes, you'd have guessed that was a Rangers home game. The crowd was absolutely on fire. Mike G right, team weren't at it today, but we go through. BB for me, guys coming into his own. Thomas Lee writes in, Livy battered us. I want to see a much better performance against the Sheep on Saturday. Jack was good as always. Sarah writes in, McGregor saved us tonight with some good saves. Thinks he deserves it, but also thought BB is like a new player. Gary writes in, Shagger for me, but what about our centre halves? They were both a shambles. And the last one we'll read out in tonight's video comes from Mark Kelly. He says, we won. That was the main thing. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. You've heard from the people. You've heard from myself. If you haven't done so already, you know what to do by now. Shout out to the absolute legends on the Patreon account. As always, I can never ever thank you guys enough. If you would like to support the channel directly, the link for that is down there in the description below. And as always, I've been CJohn over 92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.